Hey guys, so I dragged the rotisserie out of the barn yesterday and brought it in here. And as you can see, it hasn't been used for a little while. I used that when I was doing the cab on the truck there. But anyways, I can't say I'm too happy with these Canadian Tire casters. Those ones there and then one in the opposite corner are flat and won't hold air anymore. But anyways, end result is that I decided that I'm going to put this body on the rotisserie. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up on this corner here, inside here and so on, and then I'm going to strip the suspension out, take the engine and transmission out, clean the interior out, and that should lighten it up enough that it's not going to be a problem to put on that thing. Now, it's not that that thing's the problem. That thing is, I had a truck frame with full suspension on it. I don't think that's going to have any problems holding it, but I don't want to stress the body on this thing. I'm not going to use the bumper mounts like everybody typically does. I'm going to, I did some checking out on 914 World, and guys on the front were using the front suspension mounts here and there. And we're using that as the front pivot point, and we're using the rear trans mount, which I don't think you can see it. Probably not up in here. Yeah, there it is, right there. The front rear trans mount for it here. Now I won't be able to know for sure until I pull the engine and tranny out, if it's solid enough in the back. Now the tranny mount basically is on the other side of this, and everything forward of this, this point looks solid in the back here. So I'm gonna hope that the tranny mount is solid. I'm assuming those are the plugs to get access to the bolts or something like that, or who knows what. But anyways, I'll have to go and read up on how to remove it. Anyways, point being is finish up this stuff, or this corner first, but I'm going to have to remove this fender before I can do any more work on this guy here. So that's at least part of today's task, and depending upon how long that takes, then I'll go and I'll tie into the inner repair and the bottom piece, that piece there, and see if I can get that in. Okay, so the fender is off. Yeah, it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough in here. And it looks to me like this car probably was hit on this, right on this edge of the door here. And I say that because I noticed that this is a different color here. Whatever's underneath this white paint is something like almost like a turquoise. Now, unless it just happens to be turquoise all the way along that edge. I don't know. But I did notice some of that same color on here as well. And I'm gonna have to do strip some stuff off of here and see what's underneath this. But you can see there's this big kink here that, isn't there on the other side as well. So, I don't know. And these are torn. The bolts that hold the door are torn. Maybe, you know what I bet happened? Actually, now I know what it is. I got a pretty good idea. I don't know why this is a different color, but I bet you exactly what happened was somebody left the door opened, and dug the front edge into this pillar, because notice it's kind of got a bit of a curve on it. Jeez, that's inspirational. Just flick a piece of body filler off. And it kinked this, but it doesn't explain why this is tan. I'm going to have to strip this and see if this has been like brazed in here or something like that, or not. Because something's definitely weird about this spot here. I don't understand why that would be a different color. Anyways, I thought you guys might get a laugh out of this. Here's what was underneath the big swelled up part of the panel here. Bit of filler and all that. I don't know why they built. I don't know what. I think it's 2 layers. So yeah. On the other side, it was full of like seam sealer. So maybe that was the way it was done from the factory. It's weird. Anyways, got my work cut out for me here. Ugh. About the same amount of damage, you know, up in here. This is more, but you know, it's not going to be too big a deal, I don't figure. Don't know what to make of this pillar. You know, if you ignore the boogering on this side of the fender doesn't look insane. This is horrendous, but you know, we'll see. And here we see our first glimpse of this, where we're not looking at it from underneath. And this, I'm going to strip that and we'll see how we go. I'm going to try and do the same thing that I did on the other side, which is cut it down here, you know, along here and wrap it around the corner. But I do know that you can kind of see the edge of a patch here, and that's where they tied the bumper bracket into it. So we'll just have to see what we can get away with here. But anyways, so now what? I don't know what. We'll see when I come back. What did I do? Well, I did a little bit of work on this, cleaned it up, and tried to have a good look at what needs to be done here. This bit of the cowl isn't too bad. It's some pitting, but it's not anywhere near as bad as the other one, so I think I'll be able to just patch up this hole fairly easily. There's a bit of stuff that still needs to be dug out of there. I forget, because it's been quite a few hours here. I forget if I mentioned, but I have a theory about what happened to that fender on this side and this part right here, and what damaged that. And that is that somebody had the door open, and it got peeled all the way back and forward, because there was a substantial dent here. In the crescent shape of the door. I actually pulled it out with the stud gun. You can actually see a whole bunch of bumps there from it. And actually did manage to get access from behind and knock that forward some. It's not perfect, but there it is. I'll have to weld those up so they aren't so bad. I'm not 100% sure how I'll fix that actually. I might just have to go and cut that out and weld in a new piece. We'll see how it goes. Not too bad. This one is nowhere near as bad as the other one in terms of rust. You know, like there's just one small rust perforation hole there, and it actually goes pretty much to the bottom in terms of not being rotted out. The rot out up here is pretty much the same as on the other side. Might actually be almost a little bit better. This lip will need to be rebuilt up to here, but that's about exactly the same as what it was on the other side there. Here's the bad news. Oh, actually, I unplugged my light. I was getting ready to knock off here. But, I'll shine light in there and you can see it's not really bad news. It isn't any great amount better than, or worse than I thought it was already. Cut that patch off of there. I figure I'll do 2 patches here, but looking in here, you can see that the whole bottom of that reinforcement on the back of this opening here is all rotted out all the way along the bottom. My patch for the bottom here, I don't think it goes quite far enough back. I think you're going to probably be out of luck here. Or I'm going to be out of luck. Yeah, you can see it goes almost all the way to the back of that repair spot, but it was never my intention for it to ever go back that far. I didn't think it was that bad. So I'll have to see if you know, how I can do this. I might just, yeah, you know, I was thinking about making another one and making it just longer on that side, but you know what I'll do is I'll just cut this one back a little bit further, and I'll bring that out, another patch in there further, which is kind of going to be a pain in the ass because that means 2 seams close together. But regardless, you can really see the extent of that rust there. What's a little bit more concerning is the amount of rust on the inside of here. Like the back side of that thing all the way up is got some measure of rust on it. I'd say it's only soft up to about here, but you know, it's none too good. You know, obviously all that rust in there, but I think that's all surface rust. That piece still seems fairly solid. So hopefully I can keep using that. And this piece here, it's going to be really hard for you guys to see it. And the light decided that it's not going to work. Is not too bad here, but the lower lip, you can see perforation right there. So I'll probably end up rebuilding this whole bottom lip here, unfortunately, which is going to suck. I'm not looking forward to doing that, because that was kind of hard with the old piece there as well. And of course there's a big rust out here. And all this. So I think I'm going to have to do, the way I'm going to approach this is, first things first, I'll cut out, there's still a little bit of the old metal here. Cut out that part. Cut this back here to where I think it's solid. Yeah. And fix that first, and the bottom part just below it. Then I'll put that in and mount it and get it in there, and I think I'll probably just weld it in permanently. I don't think I'll need to take it out a bunch of times like I did with the other one. Weld it in permanently, then it can be the base for all the shape of the of this corner here. And at that point I'll probably rebuild the edge, you know, the bottom edge here. And then the two big patches for this corner, I'm going to try and do it in two patches. I'll bring it back to about here. It'll go up about like that to about this line, because there's a line right here where it kind of kinks. It doesn't carry through to the edge, but I'll carry it through to the edge. I'm not too worried about that. And I'll bring it across here like that and there, and then there'll be another piece, which will be just this piece here. And luckily, I've still got my pattern here for that, and that should still work well for that. And the bottom piece will just be a flat wrapped around piece. The hard part is going to be rebuilding those lips along the bottom, and all that stuff in there, because unless I want to cut this whole piece out, excuse me, yeah, it's not even a practical idea. Too difficult to do. Yeah, I'll cut it back and I'll just patch it along the bottom. It comes to a flange exactly along here, and you can actually see that it exactly rusted along that line. It's impressive, the seam sealer that Porsche used. I think it was a mixture of salt, hydrochloric acid, and some water absorbing substance, because every single place that you peel up any of that seam sealer, it's rusted. Like, you look at that there, peeled up the seam sealer, metal around it is fine, peel up the seam sealer and it's all rusted. It just must have wicked water all the way down it. Anyways, oh yeah, and there's this piece here I almost forgot about. So probably what I'll do about this piece is, after I put in that bottom piece so it can hold the shape of this corner, but before I put in these side pieces, I'll rebuild this section here, because you can see that it was pretty badly rusted. I'll see how far down I can build it. It's not exactly a complicated shape, so it's another one of those situations where I'll just take a pattern off of this side and do it there. You can actually see it's just flat, but it's five-sided. There's one there, 2, 3, 4, and 5 there, like that, but it's all flat, you know, like up to that point. And here's where it turns into a curve on the back side, and the front side is just comes to a flange. So as long as I don't cut it back beyond this line here, which I don't think I have to, you can see it there, as long as I don't cut it back to here any further than beyond here, I can fabricate a patch for here, you know. And I think I'll take it down fairly far. We'll see how it goes, you know. It still sounds pretty solid. It just looks really crappy from this side. I don't think it's going to be that big a deal to take it down fairly far. I think I'll have to. I can feel a big dent there where he probably beat it into there, just to kind of make it not so obvious. Anyways, we will see how we go. That's it for today, guys. my traditional farewell greeting. Rate, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. And I will see you tomorrow.